So this is Roger Schneidervin of Wildlife Resources. Well, you're retired now, right?
Yeah, but the peon in the family. My wife was the bird lady of Dutch Jaw, now is the bird lady of Dry Fork Canyon. Does bird rehab for Division of Wildlife Resources, and we had Anadarko bring us this eared grebe while I was out of town here this last week, and we just cleaned it up, the oil off its feathers, and you see the little guy is pretty darn calm, settled down, and going to town preening and redistributing some of that oil on the feathers.
Now this one, how do you know it's an immature?
I guess it's immature by the fact that this little crescent on the head would be a little darker and more distinct on an adult bird. You'll see that crescent come down below the eye is one of the ways to tell winter plumage. These birds get really dull. In the spring, this bird will have just this beautiful caramel color feathers that'll come right back here off of the head. Thus giving its, I'm sure its name, the eared grebe. There's a horn grebe that has a similar thing that's more above the eye, and they're very similar beak, eye color, feather, plumage pattern. A couple ways you can tell them apart when they're together is the eared grebe here will ride higher in the water. The horn grebe will look like it's halfway down under the water. These secondaries on the wing are a very, very good way also to ID the eared grebe.
Oh,
and
that is pretty.
you can actually see that as a line in flight when the bird's flying. And that dark on the head, though, coming below the eye is probably the best characteristic to use. And I'm saying it's probably an individual or probably a juvenile because that's not real distinct. If it was a horned grebe, that white, the line of the white and the black on the head would look like it went right through the eye.
Really? Could you hold it up so we could see its feet for a moment?
They'll start moving.
Kind of interesting.
They've got a real instinct to use those gigantic feet. Boy, are they swimmers.
May I see that from the front? Could you just hold one out a little bit, if that wouldn't stress the bird? For just a moment. The toe is really different.
I've got big feet myself, and it's never stressed me when you've asked me to show it to somebody.
Okay.
But he's being really darn calm for a bird that is a pretty, I think, a pretty kind of a throwback primitive species, and it's not too awfully concerned with things. I set it down here, it'll just probably start preening again once it gets those big feet in front of it. There we go.
Now when he preens, what is he doing? Is that when he's putting his head back towards those feathers?
Well, it gets the oil glands are at the base of the tail, and he'll go back there, and then when he has that on his beak, he'll use it to actually coat the feathers with oil. That's where these birds get oil soaked like that, then have to be cleaned. It just removes all the oil from the feather, and they won't survive in the water very long. I'm sure that's both a thermal protection as well as buoyancy.
Well, that is fascinating, and so he'll be able to be released fairly soon, huh?
I think so. I think this bird, they're just such efficient feeders. Those big old feet, they chase down, small fish, crustaceans in the water. They dive really deep. He'll put on weight a lot better and strength, getting him back on the reservoir as soon as we can.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much.
Well,
and thanks for the work you do.
Thank you.